Hi, Gemini. It's Angela. We are going to do a mid-June update here. We're going to just pull in some energies from this chakra-based deck that I'm using. The oracles are coming from this deck, Chakra, Wisdom. And so each of the signs gets an energetic area to focus on. And for you, Gemini, we have a heart chakra card here. So, and the card is grief. Now, you could be in grief. You could be feeling some grief now, some sense of loss. It could be missing a loved one, or the old days. You know, it's easy to miss the old days sometimes, or an aspect of yourself that's just not really present anymore. Maybe the old inner child needs to come out and play again. You know, there are many forms of grief, and it's definitely a heart chakra card. But remember, grief is love with nowhere to go, right? Nowhere to land, or nowhere to, it's sort of like the other side of love. If you haven't loved, you won't grieve the loss. So they're both there. They both sort of play around in that energetic space. And, you know, as human beings, we tend to think linearly. Like if there is someone that you're missing, you know, oh, they're in my past, but the energy of that person, whether it's like, you know, a breakup or a loved one that's passed on into the non-physical, there's the energy of that being is still with you. It's still had a part in shaping you now as you are now. So you can choose to call that forth and be with it at any given time, right? That vibration. This could also, like I said, be the you know, all happening within you, that you're grieving a part of yourself that is no longer really predominant in your waking days. But sometimes you could recapture some of that, even if it's just using the memory and using the vibration of it. Okay. All right. So we're going to see what the Zen cards say for us as it pertains to this grief energy. And let's go. Starting point here is we are the world. So this is that sort of universal vibration that, yeah, we may be suffering a loss. We may be feeling some sorrow and some grief over a loss, but the vibration, the connectedness never changes, right? We forget this because we pay attention to what's in our physical experience more often than not, right? We want to go there first. And say I broke up with someone and they're no longer, you know, I don't get to wake up and call them every day or whatever, or see them, you know, across the table having our coffee. But the vibration is still there. The vibration of that person was necessary in your life experience to, you know, to either gain new awarenesses about yourself and about how you thrive or not with others, you know, depending on the person and what their vibration was, right? You know, connection with others just teaches us so much about ourselves, and that can never be lost. That's what I'm trying to say. And this universal sort of eternal connectedness, we're all one, that vibration is unchanging, right? And some people that we come upon don't give us the best vibes. They don't make us feel so good. And yeah, we let them leave our experience, hopefully more quickly than not. But that's still part of, you know, how we overcame it. You know, that energy is still part of us. It just is. It's always will be. So this is that starting point, is the awareness. And if you are really missing someone who's not in your life anymore, get in touch, you know, energetically, at least. It doesn't have to be a physical, you know, if they're not physically here anymore, for sure, get in touch, you know, close your eyes, welcome them into a room in your mind's eye, sit down with them, speak to them, see what they say to you, right? Move that energy. It's there. It will always be there. Okay, internally, as it pertains to this sort of awareness on the universal connectedness that we all share, is postponement. You could be sitting in an unmoving, sort of stuck energy, especially within you, especially as it has to do with your emotions or your mind. This is actually a mental card. So within your mind, you might feel, it's never gonna change. I'm gonna be sad like this for a long time because I'm never gonna get right past this space I'm in, this gray space that I'm in. I'm never gonna make it out into that colorful world, right? This is just energy wise. This isn't like I'm never gonna get out the window, but that's going on within you. For some of you, that could be going on within you. And that is keeping the grief in place, right? So what we want to do is find a way to transform that, because remember what we said, the grief is the other side of love, right? Like we cannot feel grief if we haven't loved that being or that part of ourselves or that era that we lived in or whatever. So the grief comes from missing it. But moving forward, you know, clinging to that and clinging to that loss or the emptiness that we perceive as emptiness, even though, remember, it's never really empty energetically, but clinging to that is what keeps us in place, is what keeps us from being able to move forward or bypass or you know, process and move through this grief. Okay, look at that. So in your external world, you set intentions. You plant the seeds for, you know, this is my intention going forward. Yes, I suffered a loss. Yes, I feel it deeply. And I realize how much love that meant I have in my heart. And that's what you tap into. You take that love and you make it work for you, right? You set intentions going forward of creating a more loving space in your heart. There is loss, and feel the loss, feel the sadness all the way. But then what you're left with is love, really, because once you've processed the grief away, remember, the love takes that heart chakra space up too. So, you know, make sure that you're processing it clearly and cleanly, and then also remembering, oh, I get to love again, because yeah, grief is part of it. This could be, you know, I'm thinking of too the loss of pets here, because this card, actually, she's missing her little dog, right? She's grieving the loss of her dog. And it's such a huge lesson for us as human beings to have, to share our lives with pets, because they do come and go in the course of our life. Their lives aren't as long as ours. So they come and go, and we grieve, but it's not like we say, I'm never going to love another animal. I mean, we continue to love, right? We still miss our loved one, but we continue to love. So that's the vibe that I'm talking about here with cleansing our heart of that sadness, of that heaviness, and then allowing the love to blossom through again. This flowering vibe is like, you know, my intention is to go with the love that remains and grow it. That's kind of what that first line of cards said. Okay, now moving forward, the key to moving forward. I got the miser. So this woman is kind of hanging out with her or him, whoever that is. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to just stay in place. I'm going to put a wall around my heart. Literally, this is like right around her heart chakra area. I'm going to wall it all in and cling to my riches, cling to those things that I can keep for myself. I'm not going to share them. I'm not going to open my heart. I'm just going to stay right here. Right? But that's stuck energy. That's still stuck energy. And because this card is in the, you know, pivot position here, right? This card here is So this is where we started, and this is the key to moving forward into another level of awareness. And that's right there. It's kind of saying, yeah, you can choose to hang out behind that wall, hang out with this person behind the window, and just act like nothing will ever move forward, never getting to this flowering energy. But then you'll always just be there. There's no space for the growth and the openness here. You know how that lotus flower is just like blossoming open. Remember the lotus, right? It grows out of the mud, goes down into the mud and every night, and then it rises up above it. It cannot function without that mud, right? So it has the heaviness, but it also finds a way to open it up. And that's what the key is here for you. Open up that heart space. This does not have to happen all at once. This could be, incremental little practices that you hold for yourself to work on. You could get heart chakra work done. You can, you could even just within yourself, without even letting anyone know, right? My heart's closed off. You could just journal, say this is about the loss of a pet. You could pull up old photos of them and reminisce and remember those good feelings, because remember, those are forever. They're forever, right? So that's interesting. Now, when we get to this realization that, oh man, I need to drop some walls, right? I need to let my heart take over and not hold it in place, not make it feel stuck. Then we get to, oh, look at that. We got isolation. Okay. So yeah, so this through line here is telling us it's all connected. We're all one energy. And when I block that energy by either cutting people out or holding in the goodness for only myself and not really going to share it, because why would I want to share my heart when I'm just going to I'm going to be in grief again, right? But okay, then you'll just stay here and you'll never know the open cycle, the cycles that we go through of, loss and love, right? Gaining something, loving it, enjoying it, bringing it into our experience, and then losing it, which is part of the experience. Otherwise you could stay stuck here and just never feel a thing, or don't connect with people at all. But we know that's not what you want to do, right? That's not what you want to do. Gemini, it's not what you want to do at all. Okay. So, but those are reminders, right? Since they're in that through line position, that sort of, here I am, here's how I can move forward. And here's what I get to learn once I move forward. Those are all in that position, which is more like, I can see this from another viewpoint and have a different result. I'll still go through some grief as experiences come in and out of my life, because that is part of life, right? Without the love, we don't have the grief. Without the grief, we don't have the love. But I can move forward with a higher perspective. I don't have to stay stuck. I don't have to cut other people out, because their energy is waiting to help us and sort of fluff up our own energy is by interacting with others and connecting and loving others, right? The response to this isolation card, which is, it's on your plateau here, this new level of awareness. It's your landing point there. It's just a reminder to open up. Look at this figure is stuck in the ice, all cut off from everyone. But the only thing that's going to melt the ice is when they show their true self, when they show their emotion, show their sadness, show their grief, the ice melts and the connectedness comes back. Okay. So this deep freeze and this sort of walled up energy, you have the power. Well, first of all, and the postponement card too, you put yourself there by certain choices and actions that we take. We put ourselves here. We also have the power to move from it. And that's by allowing our true self to show through. Okay. Within us and internally, we get this turning in card. So this is in response to this isolation card. So perhaps your first step is go within. You know, this is a card of emotion. This is a water card. She's totally aligned, and this bottom section here looks, it sort of looks like waves, like water. She's in touch with her emotions. She's meditating. She's tuned in to what's within her and in touch with it. And yeah, there's stuff that's haunting her, and above all this, these figures that are haunting her above her head. She's not moved by it. She's strong. She found her center. She's in touch with the deepest part of her feelings, and she's okay with you know, allowing them to be there and letting them out. Then in your external position here, once that alignment and tuning in to how do I really feel? And it's okay if I still feel sad, but you know, just feeling them through is what helps move it, clear it away. And look what we have. We have awareness. We have clarity. You know, the veil is being lifted. We get to see, you know, there's brightness and light shining through instead of the cloudy, dusty kind of unclear, you know, vibration that's around us. We get to peel that curtain open and really show up as ourselves. That's part of this wall dropping. It's part of showing our true emotions. So our ice melts, you know, tune in and we get the clarity. And then we love. And then we love with our whole heart, and we clear the grief. You know, we tend to really push away these feelings that aren't so comfortable, like, you know, grief, loss, regret, shame, guilt, worry. We push it away and try to act like, oh, I don't need to feel that. I just want to feel happy. And yeah, it's nice to feel happy. And yeah, it's part of our experience. So is grief. So is shame sometimes. So is regret, right? It's all part of our experience. It's the key is don't cling on to one and you know, jump on that train and ride it to the end of the track. The key is you be the track and let the feelings be the train moving past you, moving through and past. And you got another one coming next. So it's okay. You know, if you missed it, if you didn't get a revel in all that joy for very long, it'll come again, is what I'm saying. So that's kind of the trick, is to not run away from it, not deny the feelings that come through for us in our heart, but to let them be there just as much as you would let the joy be there, right? Like we said, the grief and the love, they're there together, and they're all within your heart space. And learning to sort of welcome them in, and then when you're done with them, you can let them right out the door, right? That really helps us to, it helps us to grow more as a human. It helps us to connect more with others, because we understand others better that way when we're understanding our own experience better. You know, if we live through it mindlessly without really tuning in, we're missing out on a lot of growth and a lot of connection. Okay. All right, Gemini, I hope this helped. I'll see you soon.